Pakistan does not have an energy problem. What it does have is an energy use problem.
Everyone has their roofs
Covered with solar.
covered with solar.
The people who could actually afford to pay are the ones who are going off the system. तो ये जो inefficiencies, theft और mismanagement का burden है of circular debt, this falls on the lower middle class, जो कि पहले से ही system के अंदर पिसे हुए हैं. To fix our service system and metering, we need to have efficient systems in place which can give us real-time data, help us in resolving the management issues that we have in this sector. Look at where the world is going today, towards clean energy. Pakistan should start moving in that direction as well.
Welcome to another exciting episode of MT Out Loud, जहां बस बात कर दो. पाकिस्तान में कहा जाता है कि बिजली बहुत है, फिर कहा जाता है कि लोड शेडिंग हो रही क्योंकि बिजली कम है, फिर कहा जाता है कि आप सोलर पैनल्स लगा लें क्योंकि बिजली जो है वो सस्ती हो जाएगी. ये इतने कंफ्यूजिंग स्टेटमेंट्स हैं. तो टुडे वी वांट टू नो व्हाट इज द रियलिटी ऑफ पाकिस्तान्स एनर्जी सेक्टर. इसके लिए हमने दावत दी है बैरिस्टर इंजीनियर हबील अहमद खान. He is a legal and energy policy expert and a leading voice on sustainable infrastructure and energy transitions in Pakistan. Welcome, Habeel.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
What is happening in Pakistan when it comes to energy? We seem to have some issues with the capacity.
देखें जी, पाकिस्तान में इस वक्त हमारे पास इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटी है तकरीबन 46,000 megawatts. Out of which we have around 60% coming from thermal power, 24-25% coming from hydro and hydel, 8% coming from nuclear, and almost 6% coming from our RE projects, wind and solar.
If we were to look at another regional country, let's say China, इनकी reliance किस तरह से है when it comes to thermal or solar, wind? How are they?
China is actually leading the world today. And it has done phenomenally well. It has an installed capacity of almost about 3,400 gigawatts, from which almost about 1,500 gigawatts is coming from wind and solar alone.
We shouldn't be scared. They're much larger than us and they're far more advanced.
So we have a very modest 46 gigawatts.
We have hope. We have hope to go forward. What is it? What is the deeper issue that we see?
If you talk to the government or the perspective that you take from the public sector is that we have surplus of power. It's called surplus. But my take on the subject is that our power is not utilized enough. So there's this subtle difference in the way that I would characterize it.
That's interesting. You're saying that surplus power जो हमें कहा जाता है ये एक तरह से myth है. असल हमारा issue है utilization पे. We are not utilizing it properly. Is it a issue regarding the grid?
On one side we have this narrative कि जी पाकिस्तान के अंदर surplus है, बिजली हमारे पास वाफिर है, चाहे वो सोलर से आ रही है, विंड से आ रही है, वो अगर हाइड्रो से आ रही है. और दूसरी तरफ आप देखते हैं कि people are standing in line to get their meters installed. और ख़ास तौर पे ये आपको ये नज़र आता है फैक्ट्रीज़ के अंदर इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट के साथ, या आपका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जो सेक्टर है, आपका जो ये कारोबारी तबका है और कमर्शियल सेगमेंट्स है. पीपल हैव टू वेट फॉर मंथ्स टू गेट देयर meters, and the kind of capacity that they ask for is seldom given to them. So it's always a negotiation, a compromise that they have to reach with their discos or distribution companies जो कि उस एरिया के अंदर बिजली उनको देती हैं और सप्लाई करती हैं. तो हमेशा आपको 60%, 70%, 50% कम पावर मिलती है as to what you are asking for. तो ये शो करता है कि आपके मुल्क के अंदर डिमांड तो है. ये नहीं है कि people don't want power. It's that your sector is not structurally aligned. एक misalignment है, एक growing एक disconnect है between your demand and supply. So that is where we need to focus. और demand side के ऊपर there has to be a greater effort कि और वहाँ पर incentivize करने की ये ज़रूरत है कि people can sell power and people can buy power. at more affordable rates. अब आप अगर इसका केस देखें जी कि पिछले 5 साल के अंदर पाकिस्तान ने तकरीबन 43 गीगावाट्स वर्थ ऑफ सोलर पैनल्स इंपोर्ट किए हैं,
Everyone has their roofs
कवर्ड विद
covered with solar.
तो एक तरफ हम कहते हैं कि यहाँ पर डिमांड नहीं है, दूसरी तरफ हम कह रहे हैं कि जी 43 to 46 gigawatts worth of solar panels have been imported into Pakistan. And just last year alone, हमारे पास तकरीबन 17 gigawatts worth of panels have been imported. It shows you that what people are saying कि अगर सिस्टम मुझे सर्व नहीं करेगा तो मैं अपने आप को खुद सर्व करूँगा. And they find that having access to the grid is becoming more and more difficult. Hence they are moving off grid. और उसके अंदर वो कहते हैं कि जी यहाँ जब हम ग्रिड पे होते भी हैं तो it's either not as stable or reliable as they would want it to be, जो पास्ट के अंदर हमारा एक रिकॉर्ड रहा कि लोड शेडिंग के साथ और स्पोरेडिक हमने सप्लाई की, कभी दी कभी नहीं दी बिजली. ये एक ऐसा इशू है जो कि आज भी पाकिस्तान के अंदर प्रेवलेंट है. It's not stable. Your grid in certain areas of Pakistan is still not stable and reliable. And the second part, which is linked with this, is the cost of power, affordability. क्या हम इस सेक्टर के अंदर competitive हैं? आप अगर आज 40 रुपये या 50 रुपये पर यूनिट आप सेल करते हैं इंडस्ट्रीज़ के लिए, फिर डिफरेंट ब्रैकेट्स हैं, कहीं पे सब्सिडाइज्ड है, कहीं पे सब्सिडाइज नहीं है. But by large, you're not as competitive in this sector as you would think or you thought that you were.
So how do we actually increase our productivity, and how is it all this energy related to foreign exchange?
ये जी बहुत अच्छा एक सवाल है और this is a very timely question as well because I have been propagating this on different forums that the need of the hour is to have a policy which converts your kilowatt hours into USD. किलोवाट आवर्स को यूएसडी के अंदर चेंज करने का ये जो सफ़र है इसके 3 पार्ट्स हैं या 4 पार्ट्स हैं. फर्स्ट इज़ टू हैव पावर विच इज़ चीप एंड रिलायबल. द सेकेंड इज़ दैट यू हैव टू सपोर्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. आप अपनी इंडस्ट्रीज़ और वैल्यू चेन्स को बिल्ड करें, चाहे वो फैक्ट्रीज़ हैं, इंडस्ट्रीज़ हैं, वो माइनिंग है, वो डेटा माइनिंग है, आप क्रिप्टो करेंसी में जाना चाह रहे हैं. ऑल द सेक्टर्स एंड सेगमेंट्स वेयर यू बिलीव दैट यू विल बी नीडिंग पावर इन द फ्यूचर फॉर एआई या ईवी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आप करना चाहते हैं पाकिस्तान में, उन सब को इसके साथ लिंक किया जाए. दिस सेक्टर कैन नॉट बी थॉट ऑफ in isolation of all the others. So there is a need for have an energy economy revamp. You have to think about the macro picture. The third is to link it to your exports. पहला था कि आपके पास सस्ती बिजली हो और रिलायबल बिजली हो. दूसरा है कि आप अपने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को इसके साथ लिंक करें, इंडस्ट्रीज को इसके साथ लिंक करें. तीसरा है कि आपके एक्सपोर्ट्स हों. एंड द फोर्थ इज दैट दिस विल देन ब्रिंग इन फॉरेन एक्सचेंज टू पाकिस्तान. सो ये जो सफ़र है आपका किलोवाट आवर से शुरू होता है और यूएस डॉलर पे जाके ख़त्म होता है. एंड दिस इज़ व्हाट वी हैव बीन आस्किंग एंड रिक्वेस्टिंग एट एवरी फोरम कि आप पावर सेक्टर को कभी भी इसको आप आइसोलेशन में ना देखें. आप इसको एज एन इंटीग्रेटेड होल देखें कि पूरे पाकिस्तान का जब आप रिफॉर्म करेंगे और इन सेक्टर्स को इसके साथ लिंक करेंगे, only then you'll be able to utilize this excess capacity and you won't have to make these payments for capacity which are indexed to the US dollar, और उसकी पेमेंट से आप बचेंगे and you'll go for actual growth.
Can you explain what is circular debt and how it is actually, चूँकि हमारा circular debt जो है वो कोई 2.7 trillion rupees से ज़ायद जा रहा है. So what's driving this when it's related to energy sector?
देखिए जी, circular debt has been at the heart of our problem from day one. और ये एक सब्जेक्ट है जिसने या एक ऐसा इशू है पावर सेक्टर में जिसने हमारी जो ग्रोथ को भी हैम्पर की है, इस सेक्टर की हेल्थ को भी हैम्पर की है और बहुत इसके वाइड रेंजिंग इसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हैं. इन शॉर्ट, it means that we have a broken value chain. The government underpays the subsidies, the discos, your distribution companies underperform. Your CPPAG, which is your Central Power Purchase Authority, is not able to pay the IPPs in time, और power generators को नहीं वो फिर टाइम के ऊपर पे कर पाते. And this adds to your circular debt. You cannot fix this problem without having a demand side reform and fixing your metering efficiency. There's a lot of theft in the system.
Yes, what do we call that in local language?
The Kunda system,
The Kunda system.
the famous or our infamous,
Yeah.
Kunda system that we have in Pakistan.
Yes. How do we fix this Kunda system? Because theft has become electricity theft is a major issue.
देखें जी, I strongly believe कि ये इस तरह के problems को हम technology से हल कर सकते हैं. Smart meters is something that the whole world has utilized.
So what is a smart meter? Somebody won't come to inspect.
So you have real-time data which is being given to you or communicated back to the central control systems that you would have in your distribution companies. And from there, they would know exactly how much of power is being utilized in each feeder and each meter, so they can pinpoint where they have losses to the vicinity of a few houses. And so it then becomes easier for them to go and find the people who are doing this.
So for example, I am a factory owner और मेरे मीटर का एक स्टैंडर्ड मुझे पता है कि उसकी कैपेसिटी क्या है, कि इतना मेरा आता है खर्चा बिजली का. तो क्या ये स्मार्ट मीटरिंग से मुझे पता चल जाएगा कि इसमें कोई थेफ्ट है, मेरे इस महीने बिल ज़्यादा था या 2 महीने का बिल जो था वो ज़्यादा आ रहा है, इसमें कहीं थेफ्ट हो सकती है. तो can I also have access to it as an owner of that meter?
From the point of view of someone who has installed a smart meter on their property or factory or residence, you get access to real-time data of your usage patterns. You will know exactly कि मेरे घर या मेरे कारखाने में बिजली किस टाइम पे कितनी इस्तेमाल हुई, और अगर उसमें कहीं पर irregularity है, someone is playing with the meter and the figures because they're passing on that burden to you, that means कि जी आपके मीटर के साथ टेम्पर किया गया. Hence you can start to then take action on it. So it's useful for both sides. आपके जो suppliers हैं, they will know कि जी हमारी lines में कहाँ पर consumers चोरी कर रहे हैं, और consumers को ये पता चल जाएगा कि मैं जो पे कर रहा हूँ, यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, मेरा पैटर्न क्या है, और क्या उसमें कोई गलत फिगर्स तो नहीं डाल दिए गए, या उसके अंदर कोई एक्सेस मेरी यूजेज से ज़्यादा तो नहीं डाला जा रहा. तो वो बर्डन से बच जाएंगे, एक्सेस बर्डन से बच जाएंगे.
Sounds like the most important step right now. And why have we not moved towards that? Is it infrastructural problem? What is it?
What I feel and believe is that most of these solutions have already been implemented somewhere in the world. It's not the first time that someone is highlighting these issues, or we're not the first country that's facing these challenges. The problem is that we are preoccupied with firefighting every day. There's so many issues that you find that our governments are faced with, that sometimes these basic problems are not focused on, or they slip away. And that's where I believe that we need to have more technical support for the government to focus on issues which are more pertinent in solving these issues. एक और जो इससे एक related चीज़ मेरे ज़हन में भी आई, and I would like to share with the audience and also with you. अब जिस तरह वो मैंने पहले एक बात मेंशन की थी कि लोग सोलर पैनल्स खरीद रहे हैं, घरों पे इंस्टॉल कर रहे हैं. There's gigawatts and gigawatts of solar panels being imported into Pakistan. इससे हो क्या रहा है? The paying customers, the people who could actually afford to pay, are the ones who are going off the system. क्योंकि सोलर पैनल की कॉस्ट तो it's still relatively high. तो आप अगर 20 लाख या 10 लाख का सिस्टम खरीद रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब है कि you fall in the middle class, somewhere where you could actually afford to pay the bills. अब जब ये अच्छे कस्टमर्स सिस्टम में से बाहर निकल जाते हैं, तो बर्डन उन पे आएगा जो कि सिस्टम में रह गए हैं. तो ये जो इनएफिशिएंसीज, थेफ्ट और मिसमैनेजमेंट का बर्डन है of circular debt, this falls on the lower middle class. Unfortunately, ये सारा बर्डन उनके ऊपर पास हो जाता है जो कि पहले से ही सिस्टम के अंदर पिसे हुए हैं, और मज़ीद उनके ऊपर बिजली का बोझ या कॉस्ट या इसका टैरिफ्स का बोझ वो आ जाता है. So this is something which we need to save ourselves from, and we need to save the larger population from the excess costs of mismanagement which are being passed on right now.
I'm going to ask you about Pakistan's competitive trading bilateral contract market. What is it and what's going to happen?
So the CTBCM is part of an unfinished reform package which was started in the 1990s. or the late 1980s. And to put it simply, and it's seen successive governments and institutional changes, taking place in Pakistan over the last, 35, 40 years. In simple words, it will allow the power generators to sell directly to their consumers, bypassing all of this inefficient system that we have been talking about of CPPAG and MTDC.
Sounds like a solution to me.
Yes, it is something which, if implemented in the right way, can help Pakistan modernize its entire network.
Who's supposed to implement this?
There is a certain framework which has been passed. The ECC gave its decision in 2016, and NEPRA in 2020-21 passed the licenses and the regulations, the documents which have this framework. So it's been, a trial run has been done. It has been in its pilot phase. So there are institutions, or there are government departments which have been given the task of implementing CTBCM.
Do you support this?
It's a difficult question to answer, because while I do support modernizing our grid and opening up the market to multiple buyers and sellers, I do believe that there are foundational and regulatorily challenges that we're facing, which if we do not solve first, having the reform of CTBCM might not be the best way to move forward, because you're going to add to the entire complexity of the sector.
एक तो आपने mention किया था कि real-time data is one of the barriers. What are others?
If you don't have real-time data coming into the system, the price discovery for the exchange to work efficiently becomes very low. So it won't be able to, the probability that you'll have price discovery will be very low. And you'll be then dependent on algorithms which are going to be implemented with a lapse of certain time. So you'll be going back, or you'll have a lag in the system of a few weeks or months before you can make settlements, which is not how the market should be, ideally working. The CPPAG has been given the role of the market operator and the system operator. So we have different elements within the CTBCM on how it's supposed to function, with having these associations for the sellers, the buyers, the bulk buyers, your generators, your IPPs. So it becomes a very complex segment in which people may not be able to follow it. So the real-time data issue is there. The second problem that you face in this is that the larger discos will benefit from this, because they'll be facing economies of scale. They'll have better buying power.
Due to subsidies?
Not exactly due to subsidies, but due to the fact that they have a larger base of consumers. So take it as having a factory which is selling more products as compared to a factory which is selling fewer. So if you have a large customer base, the costs will get divided on them. So hence the larger discos will gain from such a market proposition, because they'll be able to still sell power at a cheaper rate as compared to some of the smaller discos, which will be at a disadvantage in CTBCM, which will cause a socio-economic impact, leading to your industry's internal migration towards these larger discos or distribution companies, while at the same time your legacy and your large-scale projects of renewable energy will lose favor in smaller segments or in areas of jurisdiction of the smaller discos, because there will not be enough customer base to support those projects. So why would someone go and invest or put capital into those projects where they don't have enough customers or consumers? So your resources will suffer because of that. And then it leads us to the next problem, which is that you are bifurcating your capacity and energy consumption. As a factory owner, or BPC as they call them, the bulk power consumers, the BPCs will have to pay, upfront for their capacity while paying for their energy later on. So both of these segments will add further financial burden onto your businessmen and your manufacturing segment or sector in Pakistan, which is already much burdened by taxation and all the other regulations that we have in Pakistan. So this adds another layer of constraints on them to grow. So you're making payments right up front, you're buying certificates for your capacity, and then in case if you violate your capacity at the end of the year, you have to settle that on the exchange, which means that you'll have to pay penalties as well. And on top of that, the only way that you gain access to these certificates and to power is to first give financial guarantees. So now imagine someone who has a small, medium-sized business
Correct.
going to the bank and asking for bank guarantees at the start of the fiscal year so that he can have capacity and also use power. And then he has to make sure that he doesn't violate the terms of his usage. Otherwise, he's going to get penalized and he'll have to settle that on the exchange at the end of the year. So is our population ready for this?
So it will also start to encourage speculative behaviors.
It can, because whenever you have exchanges which are not well, regulated, or there are only a few people who can understand how those markets are functioning, it leads to the opportunities of arbitrage and speculative control.
So how do we save ourselves from all these repercussions?
One of the solutions for that would be to take stepwise and gradual progress. Instead of making leaps, it's better to go in smaller steps. Have the required infrastructure set up. Have the smart metering in place. Have your discos privatized as a prerequisite for your CTBCM to function. Because you need to have more players in the market who are independent of the state. And then your market can function in a way that it makes sense, or there is a win-win situation for everyone.
I'd like to talk about the IGCEP, which is slightly controversial, but for our audiences, it's Indicative Generative Capacity Expansion Plan. How is it going to be impacting us?
So the IGCEP is supposed to be a guiding document in our sector for Pakistan. It is supposed to tell you कि कितनी पावर कहाँ पर और कब आनी चाहिए.
और ये पाकिस्तान के 100 साल होने पे 2047 पे इसको
So that's how far it goes into the future. So the planning is being done today, but ये आपके अगले 20-22 साल या 25 साल का प्लान है, जिसमें ये एक इन्विजिज कर रहा है कि जी कितनी आपकी जो कैपेसिटी है और किस किस्म की, whether it will come from hydro, whether it will come from solar, from wind or thermal or nuclear, all of those, decisions are taken in your IGCEP, indicative, your generation capacity expansion plan.
So I understand that, you said that it will go as far as that. Does it have short-term, medium-term, and then a long-term plan? How does it work?
So the way that your document is designed, or what your policies state, is that you have to revise this document every year so that you can be in tune and in touch with the changing realities of your country and the world. अगर एक सेक्टर या एक टेक्नोलॉजी अगर सस्ती हो गई है तो आपको उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा शिफ्ट कर जाना चाहिए, and you should cancel out the projects that you had envisaged for those segments जहाँ पर कॉस्ट आपकी बढ़ गई है. तो environmental impact भी देखना होता है, फिर डिमांड को भी आप गेज कर रहे होते हैं. So there's a lot of things that you have to look into while you're making the IGCEP. सूबाई गवर्नमेंट्स को ऑन बोर्ड लेना, फेडरल गवर्नमेंट को ऑन बोर्ड लेना, and most of all, your private sector has to be on board when you're making the IGCEP.
So there are a few factors that are making it disconnected.
At the moment, yes.
Would you be able to discuss those?
Yeah, so at the moment, there seems to be a disconnect in this document. As much as it should be our guiding light and a document which takes us forward into the sector for the next 25 years or 22 years, we find that the data, which has been used for the modeling of the sector is very poor, which leads to a poor kind of planning which comes out of the IGCEP exercise. So there are certain softwares which are used at the back end to run the algorithms on the data that you would provide. In case if that data is poorly managed or collected, it has a huge impact on its outcome. For example, if you don't give the right timelines for your EPC contracting, if you don't give the right timelines for the projects to come to the system, if your demand is not properly gauged, your population figures are not properly gauged, expansion is not even looked into, or your policies in which you're looking at expanding into AI and data centers and EV manufacturing and this crypto mining like Bitcoin and all the other things that you want to do in Pakistan with, projects like Recordec and mining for copper and gold and all the other things, if you're not taking that into account while you're making your IGSIP, there's definitely going to be a disconnect.
क्या stakeholders इस policy के साथ खुश हैं?
Because of the factors that we have outlined और जिनके ऊपर हमने अभी बात की कि क्योंकि डेटा सही तरह इस्तेमाल नहीं हुआ या उसकी जो मतलब प्लानिंग के कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट्स थी वो हमसे मिस हो गई, उसकी वजह से जो मार्केट के साथ अलाइनमेंट थी वो शायद नहीं हो पाई इस पॉलिसी से, विच हैज़ लेड टू द फैक्ट दैट सूबाई गवर्नमेंट्स, आपकी जो फेडरल गवर्नमेंट है और प्राइवेट सेक्टर by large is not happy with this policy. तो जब कोई भी खुश नहीं तो something has to be wrong somewhere.
नहीं, you're saying कोई खुश नहीं है तो इसके core objectives क्या थे?
That's an excellent question. And it's often the most overlooked part about policy making in the energy sector. People do not realize that the core objectives for the energy sector are the most simple and the most critical. And there's so much noise and nuisance that we have in this sector and confusion that we have in this sector कि लोग इसके ऊपर गौर नहीं करते. In my view, it's very simple. बिजली को आपने सस्ता रखना है, affordable रखना है, ताकि people can buy it, use it. आपके फैक्ट्रीज में, आपके कारखानों में you need to be competitive. अगर महंगी बिजली होगी तो आपका काम नहीं चलेगा और आपकी जो इधर मईशत है उसका पहिया नहीं चलेगा. The second thing that you need is to have an energy security. What that means is कि आपके पास indigenous resources होने चाहिए. You should be focused on third coal. आपके हाइड्रो के जो हैं प्लांट्स और डैम्स जो बनने हैं, सोलर पावर है, आपकी शमसी पावर. अल्लाह ने पूरे पाकिस्तान को strategically, you are in such a place you can actually power your solar systems throughout the year. फिर आपके पास एक कोस्ट है जहाँ पर कोस्टल एरियाज में you have huge potential for wind power. तो आपको अपने जो अल्लाह ने आपको ये सारी चीज़ें दी हुई हैं, you must utilize them. And what we've seen internationally is that regional players or international players have started moving towards more and more of renewable energy. Strategically speaking, the wars and conflicts in different parts of the world like Ukraine have led to all of Europe accelerating their process towards clean and net zero economies. By 2050 किसी का टारगेट 2040 का है, किसी का टारगेट 2035 का है. लेकिन by sure, we can be sure of the fact that everyone is moving in that direction. और फिर आप देखते हैं मिडिल ईस्ट की तरफ, even countries which are rich in resources of oil and gas have started making moves towards more of solar and wind in this system.
So, Abid, what are your top 3 recommendations for power sector of Pakistan?
So the 3 recommendations that I would make is that we start utilizing our idle capacity. Instead of giving subsidies, we need to use it for growth. The second would be that we need to link it with our exports so that we can earn foreign exchange through this, helping our supply chains, whatever it may be, and taking us to that place. And the third is to fix our service system and metering. We need to have efficient systems in place which can give us real-time data, help us in resolving the management issues that we have in this sector. And one of the things I would also recommend is to look at where the world is going today. Towards clean energy, towards net zero, carbon footprints. So what I would recommend is that Pakistan should start moving in that direction as well. And I would like to end on the note that, and leave this thought with everyone, that Pakistan does not have an energy, problem. What it does have is an energy use problem. That is what we need to solve. The demand side has to be improved or reformed so that we can supply power more easily.
Well, thank you very much, Abid. This was very, very insightful. I think you have really given us a very good picture of the reality, future, as well as a vision for the energy as an economic catalyst.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been such a pleasure.
Same.
Talking with you and going into the technical details of the power sector, I hope the audience will enjoy.
We really hope that. We really hope that this technical podcast.
I tried to make it as simple as I could.
Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure having you.